Get ready for a pizza making masterclass. In this video, we'll reveal the secrets of creating amazing homemade pizzas. Let's jump right in with tip number 1. Use high quality ingredients. Start with fresh ingredients like quality cheese, ripe tomatoes, and flavorful toppings to enhance the taste of your pizza. Tip number 2. Preheat your oven. Ensure that your oven is properly heated to a high temperature, around 450 to 500 degrees Fahrenheit or 230 to 260 degrees Celsius to achieve a crispy crust and even cooking. Tip number 3. Use a pizza stone or baking steel. Place a pizza stone or baking steel in your oven before preheating. This helps to distribute heat evenly, resulting in a crispier crust. 4. Stretch the dough gently. Stretch the pizza dough slowly and gently using your hands or a rolling pin. Avoid overworking the dough as it can become tough and chewy. 5. And I know we're all guilty of this. Don't overload with toppings. While it's tempting to pile on the toppings, be mindful not to overload your pizza. Too many toppings can lead to a soggy crust. Balance is key. 6. Pre-cook certain toppings. For ingredients that require longer cooking time, such as dense vegetables or raw meat, consider pre-cooking them slightly before adding them to the pizza. This ensures that they are fully cooked by the time the crust is done. 7. Use a pizza peel or parchment paper. To transfer the pizza onto the preheated pizza stone or baking steel, use a pizza peel or place the pizza on the parchment paper. This makes it easier to slide the pizza onto the hot surface. 8. Bake until golden and bubbly. Keep a close eye on your pizza while it's baking. It typically takes 10 to 15 minutes, but the exact time can vary based on the temperature and thickness of the crust. Remove it from the oven when the crust is golden and the cheese is bubbly and slightly browned. 9. Let it rest before slicing. Allow your pizza to rest for a few minutes after removing it from the oven. This helps the flavors to settle and prevents the toppings from sliding off when you slice it. 10. Experiment and have fun. Don't be afraid to try new combinations or toppings and flavors. Making pizza at home is a great opportunity to get creative and tailor it to your personal taste preferences. Enjoy the process and have fun experimenting. 11. Choose the right flour. Opt for high-quality pizza flour or bread flour with a higher protein content. This helps develop gluten, resulting in a chewy and elastic crust. 12. Allow the dough to rise. After kneading the dough, let it rise in a warm place until it doubles in size. This fermentation process enhances the flavor and texture of the dough. 13. Properly shape the dough. Gently stretch the dough into a round shape, working from the center outwards. If you're new to shaping pizza, you can use a rolling pin or your hands. Aim for a thickness that suits your preference, whether thin and crispy or thicker and chewy. Tip number 14. Don't forget to dock the dough. Use a fork or a dough docker to create small holes across the pizza dough. This prevents large air bubbles from forming during baking and helps the dough cook more evenly. Tip number 15. Use semolina or cornmeal. Before placing the stretched dough on the pizza peel or parchment paper, sprinkle a light dusting of semolina or cornmeal. This prevents the dough from sticking and adds a subtle crunch to the crust. 16. Prioritize sauce to topping balance. Spread a thin layer of pizza sauce on the dough, leaving a small border around the edges for the crust to rise. Be mindful not to use an excessive amount of sauce, as it can make the crust soggy. 17. Consider cheese placement. Place a thin layer of cheese over the sauce to help bind the toppings. For toppings that release moisture, such as fresh tomatoes or mushrooms, consider placing them on top of the cheese to prevent a soggy crust. 18. Experiment with seasoning. Enhance the flavor of your crust by sprinkling a pinch of salt, dried herbs, or spices on top. This adds an extra layer of taste to the overall pizza experience. Tip number 19. Final touch. Once your pizza is out of the oven, drizzle it with a touch of olive oil or a sprinkle of fresh herbs like basil or oregano. This adds a burst of freshness that elevates the aroma. Last but not least, remember, practice makes perfect, so don't get discouraged if your first attempts aren't exactly as you envisioned. Enjoy the process. Try different variations, and soon you'll be creating delicious homemade pizzas like a pro.